Sorry. I pulled you right up. I guess I should have warned you. Oh my
I
gosh.
love that intro because this is giving me all the talk show vibes. I love it
Listen,
so
welcome back, y'all. We
much.
are back. We saw you guys about 2 hours ago.
Mhm.
Hey Lauren, hey TJ, and whoever else is watching. Y'all read from the title. Y'all already know why we here. Let them know, Lauren. Let them know why they here.
I will say the best documentary to date, TV made documentary to date, aired tonight. It was Janet Jackson on Lifetime, part one. Second part comes on tomorrow, but man, so much tea. So
So
much.
much tea.
I'm so excited. Like
So
I
much tea.
can stay in my skin. I'm so excited.
Okay. Hot butt question, and then but it has to be something brief because we're gonna talk about everything. So when I say my hot butt question, then you'll be like, oh, a hot button question. Then you'll be able to say you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about and what I mean by brief. Did you get teary eyed anytime?
Yes.
Me too. We'll
Mhm.
talk about it. Was you wondering something about like? Do you have one for me?
Yes. Did you think that she had a baby with James DeBarge?
Low key, I do because they never answered. They laughed it off. Back in the day, yes, I absolutely was among the people. Again, around that time, I might have been teen. I gotta forget the years, but I think I was like a pre-teen, definitely a teenager. I
When
wasn't an adult, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just want to point out that this is going to be an amazing conversation because I want to mention the generation differences, right?
Yes,
So when Janet first came out, what was it? I wrote the year down. It was in
71, wasn't it?
yeah,
No, that was the boys.
when
Oh,
she
yes, 71.
I wasn't even thought of. And really, I was born when the Rhythm Nation tour was kicking off.
Stop.
So, but the fact that I know and obsessed.
Right.
So just that's a little bit of context for y'all.
Ugh. Okay. So I'm gonna pull up her Wikipedia just or maybe her IBMD or whatever it's called, just so
Mhm.
we can get some dates because that's a really good point that you make.
Mhm.
Because 71, like when she was talking about, oh, we're in Vegas, I wasn't thought of at that time.
Right.
Okay, so Mosaic was 4. That means I would, like I said, I wasn't even thought of.
Yeah.
Rhythm Nation, like I said, I definitely was a kid, middle school,
Mhm.
not high school, because by high school it was a thing. She was a thing.
Yeah.
We have some things to get into, but before we get into those things, let's see what JT Coin Rings has to say, and then we're just gonna break it down, y'all. Lauren and I, we tried to watch it together. I was ahead,
Mhm.
and then I was like, no, we can't watch it together. And so you are getting our raw reactions, our raw interactions with each other. But JT Coin says, I remember that. I heard the family didn't like it. We're going to get into all of it. So, without further ado, thank you, JT Coins. Thank you for that super chat because you could have just written that out to us without even sending a super chat. So, I really, really appreciate it. Mosaic says, I was a senior high school when Control dropped. 85? Okay, so I was in middle school. Like I said, I was like in sixth, fifth grade because I
Mhm.
remember the clothes because we're going to get into all of that. So, I'm so excited. Let's get into the first talking point,
Mhm.
which is her early life.
Yes.
All right. What did you take from it? So we both have
So
notes.
yes, I found it not strange that she didn't quite remember her upbringing. Like Randy
Right,
played
right,
a
right.
major part in explaining the early childhood growing up in Gary. And one, she was really young, but also two, maybe that was time where she tried to like put it out of her memory because they
Right.
didn't really talk a lot in detail about their dad, their father, Joseph, right? They kind of just brushed over it like it was necessary, like the pressure that he put on them was necessary for them to be who they are. And they kind of left it at that. So I thought that that was very tactful. Number one, I think we can all
Yeah.
take notes. Um, they didn't ignore the fact that he was abusive in a way. They alluded to it, but
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
did.
flat out accuse him of
And
anything.
he passed away, right?
I think so. I think he did, because he would have been in it.
Right, he did pass away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did. He did. He
Mm-hmm.
did.
I remember when he did. I remember when he did. It was like, let's see.
So while you're looking that up, my son walked in and he said, "Wait a minute, I wanted to watch this," but it was her early life, and it was all the Jacksons and their story. And he was like, "I thought this was her story." And then he was like, "Well, I guess you can't really have a Janet without talking about the boys." But would you have wanted to give us more of her young adulthood? Okay, so what I'm thinking about is editing. If they would have took out the Jackson 5, kind of just blurbed her as a kid, gave us some of her kiddom, but switched us to adolescence. Take us where she went to high school at. Take us prom, or did she not go to prom, or whatever, and not be so heavy on the Jackson 5s.
Right. I think that's where they kind of missed the mark a little bit, because you're right. We did want to know details. Did she have obviously she talked a little bit about dating, but who were her childhood friends? They mentioned the neighbor, but like not in detail. I think it was necessary for them to put the Jackson 5 in, though, because but they could have dug deeper. Like, if they were going to spend that much time on them, I would have wanted them to ask the specific question: how much did the Jackson 5 impact you in your development as an artist? Right? Like, because it's obvious, like they alluded to it. It was just like her and Michael, but Michael wasn't the only member of Jackson 5. She had older brothers, right?
Yes.
So
yeah,
I wanted to know what her dynamic was with the whole entire group, seeing as though they threw her into the Jackson, what was it? They called it the variety show, show in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So what was the dynamic like amongst all of them?
You kind of did get the sense that she was close to Tito, close to Michael,
and
Randy. But when you really think about it, we don't even to this day don't see Janet out to brunch with her sisters.
I was just gonna say that. What was her relationship like with her older sisters? Did they like help mold her in a way? Like, what? There's so many unanswered questions.
There are a lot of unanswered questions, and it was very heavy on Jackson 5 variety show and all, and that was great, but that was also stuff we already knew. They literally could have took us from the Vegas variety show and moved it forward. So that would be one quote negative if I had to. Yeah. We've seen them go home before. So is that now a museum?
I don't know if it's a museum. It might just be a historical landmark.
Okay. Because, her pictures were in there.
Oh,
yeah.
So maybe it might be. I haven't actually been. My mom actually texted me. I was like, "You haven't been through there?" And I was like, "No."
Oh, yeah. So it was very interesting. She was absolutely adorable as a kid, but we knew that.
Yes.
But I wanted to dig more when she said she missed them when they went on the road. But she didn't. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just like, obviously there was a dynamic there, right? There was maybe some type of comfort that they gave her that was kind of ripped away. I can't wait till we get to her teenage years, because I have all the notes. But
yes. So early life gave us what we knew. Was there any footage that we hadn't seen before? I think we've seen it all.
Well, the footage of her in their in-home studio of like her watching the brothers.
I know.
And again, I feel like they do a really good job at just giving you just enough to show like, okay, yes, she was influenced by her brothers. We're going to drop a little clip here. She doesn't have to say it, but we'll show you, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did peep Joe. Well, first of all, I texted you when we were watching it. And I say, is it me who was there? Randy? Tito? That was Tito.
That was Randy. That was on screen. Yeah.
I text you, I said, is it me, or are they calling him your dad, your father? They've always been they weren't mommy and daddy. All of them have always been mother and father, and Joseph and Catherine. So weird.
Yes. Very weird. I mean, and I don't know if it has something to do with their religion too. I find it very interesting that they didn't talk about that at all. They did not talk about being Jehovah's Witnesses, because it did play a part in how they interacted with people in their neighborhood,
TJ says the older brothers and sisters were like surrogate mothers and fathers.
See, they should have, then that just further emphasized that they had more of an impact than they like made it seem to be on the doc,
Yeah. I think it was appropriate to talk about the brothers because she was in the shows with them and they were a major part of her life. Exactly. But the thing is, we wanted this to be exclusive. We wanted something to come out of that era. So I would have liked for them to expound more when they were like, hey, how did you feel when they went on the road? How did you feel about being pushed into the variety show? How did you feel looking at your brothers on stage? Did you know who they, it's almost like in the future when Blue Ivy is going to be interviewed. Or, I mean, can you imagine, not to Beyonce this because we're not, but I'm just, can you imagine as a Blue Ivy going back and going, I remember that.
And then too, not even recognizing, like, to her, they're her brothers, but to everybody else, they're superstars. And so I would want to know, like, did she ever feel like I'm living with like
the Jacksons,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
I want that. So you're feeling me. That's exactly more of what I wanted from that. But it wasn't lacking. When they gave us the early childhood, the early going back home, that's always great. Did you see how, well, it's editing, but it didn't take long for people to throng the house. Like, they were there. So when she went in or whatever, it was really cute. And like you said, it's very telling, I think, that she didn't speak about that a lot, but also she didn't remember a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember, of course, early child, but by 5, 6, she has some memories. Come on, Janet.
Right. I mean, and then even if she didn't have memories, they seem like back in the day, everybody recorded everything. There was a camcorder everywhere.
Yeah.
So why, because I can speak for me, even in the 90s, and my parents have videos from before me, but as a kid, I remember my early years because of the home videos. Remember, home videos were a thing back then. You got America's Funniest Home Videos. Like, it was really popping in the 80s and 90s.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, Renee Reese says, however, she is giving context to her story, and I don't think we can dictate how someone contextualizes their own story. We're not trying to dictate. This is just as the thumbnail stated. It's our reaction.
Yeah.
So if with it being our reaction, if we want to hear more or learn more or see more, I don't think either one of us said, Janet, you should have, or you need to, or whatever, because especially after watching this documentary, I'm not even getting to this point. I have not even asked Lauren this, but I know at the end of the day, we're both like, dang, I feel her. So the last thing I want to do is put the cage bird back in the cage and tell her what I think she should do. Yeah. So no, that is not.
We both said we loved it. Like, we're gonna watch it again after this.
Oh, we both recorded it. I'm gonna watch it because I want to listen. I can't wait to after this. So thank you, Renee Reese, for your comment. And we're gonna go to the next one, which is what was it? Her young adult.
So, man, I think her teenage young adult years were probably my favorite of all of her her journey through life. I thought it was interesting that she said on multiple occasions, I didn't want to be a singer. I didn't want to be. And I'm like, whoa. Girl. And I was very shocked, and we were on the phone, I think, when this part came on, like how she wanted to go to school. And she had her head, I just think about the kids today and how parents are often kind of like overpowering, and you know, we're starting to get a little looser. My generation is starting to be like, do what you want to do.
Y'all on some other stuff. Listen. I'll be like, okay, mommy, I think have at it. Y'all on some other stuff, and I appreciate that. I love it.
Yeah, but I feel bad for her though, because she was dealing with a lot. Like, you experience growing pains around 16, and then to be stuck in between a rock and a hard place of like, this is what I don't want to do, but I don't want to let my family down. And the fact that she felt like she had to carry the family in some way, that is just crazy to me.
It was so interesting to me because in around that time and the way they were describing her and the way other people describe it. It's one thing for you to describe yourself, but for other people to describe you, I would have never pegged her as sassy, but I've heard that before. So I'm not even gonna front, but I've heard that, but I still am like, okay, so now we have a documentary where other people are saying that. So yeah, she was sassy. They said she didn't play. So it makes you think, okay, here she is going into her teenage years and she's like, I don't want this life. She did not want this, but for whatever reason, she felt the pressure to live life in that controlling environment and she went on to it. She wanted to be what was it?
And she wanted to go to Pepperdine. She wanted to be a business lawyer, tax lawyer, or
business lawyer, something like that, a lawyer. And I was like, wow. And what else did I write?
I wrote
go ahead.
that she was conflicted by getting up from under her dad and going independent. I also didn't necessarily. I found it very strange, and perhaps this was the beginning of her and Michael's strained relationship as teens, because in some way, once the Jackson 5 and Michael broke from Joe, he kind of used Janet as a "I'll show you" to like his boys, like, I'm gonna show y'all, if you have stuck with me, I'm gonna make Janet the biggest star there was. And that pressure, and like to kind of like compete, and they said, we weren't competing, but in essence you really were, because he said, like, I'm investing putting all eggs in this basket in you. That's a lot.
But here's the question before we go to JT's question. Do you think that was his focus before they left him?
No.
Exactly.
Right. Imagine how that would make you feel. Like she said, like, I felt left out, like the outcast. I was an afterthought, if you will. Right. It's like, and he only picked up interest because they found that tape. Right. And it's like, oh, you think you gonna sing? You gonna sing for real? Like that. It's crazy.
Yep. And I found it interesting. I know you picked up on it, where the narrator was or the interviewer was asking her about, I'm going back to when they go on tour. They were trying to like get it out of her. How do you feel about them and their fame and everything? She was saying one thing, which was, I kind of feel left out. I'm trying to find my place. But they, in true interview fashion, it's like, the Jackson 5s, they're your brother, whatever. And I just think growing up to a certain point, she didn't feel like she belonged. And that is what you're saying. Like, which is crazy, because the narrative was, you wouldn't have never known that when you were watching them entertain. You just felt like they was just one great big happy family. And watching this, just watching her expression change, tears in her eyes a little bit, but definitely her expression and mood and getting shifty. I was like, oh, there was some stuff going on.
Yeah. And I know what it's like. I'm looking up the age differences, like how so Reby was born in 1950, 56 was Latoya, and then Janet was 1966. So there's like a 10-year age gap. And so the reason why I can, like feel her, I empathize with her, because my older brothers we're 10 and 9 years apart. Wow. So it's almost like you're growing up in a different, you're not growing up with them. And if the only brothers or siblings you have that are close to age are being pulled away, you do feel isolated, because your older sisters aren't living in the house no more with y'all,
and my husband and I just experienced that. Well, okay, so you've seen my house, my kids, but we have 5, so we have the older 3. There's a 13-year age difference, 13 and 14-year age difference between my oldest and the last 2. So we're doing adult marriage, mind your own business things with the older 3. But we also saw, as the nest was getting emptier and partial empty, how it affected the younger 2, which are like twins.
Yeah.
So it was like, the house is too quiet. I don't know what to do. And they miss each other and that whole thing. So I will say it is an adjustment. And when you think about it, so you have the Jackson 5, but we never get the story of the other 2. The first 2,
No.
We listen, they're for the streets, for lack of a better term. Whatever the streets say about them, that's just what we get.
We take, yeah.
And so, yes, that is, man, you're going to hear me say this over and over. I learned, I felt for her
Yeah.
in this.
I did so much.
So we're in. So JT says, didn't she play a lawyer in Tyler Perry movie? Yes, she did. TJ says, I'm a year younger than Janet, and we were raised to do as we were told. Period. Yes, you know, I in that era, yes, a lot of people were raised to do what they were told. I had a little bit of leeway with my mom, and maybe because I didn't have a father figure, so yeah, I probably had the room and the leeway. But my mom's also a nurse and medical and mental in the sense of a thinking and feeling person, so she raised me a little bit differently as far as that's concerned. Did you think she had a fun young adult, young
Do I
adult?
think she had fun during her young adult life? Heck no. I think she was, because remember, that's when she kind of like, she was really making
It
decisions.
out.
Like that's when she was with James. I don't want to jump ahead, but that's when she got with James. And then too, I mean, she moved from Gary to LA. And that is an adjustment within itself. And then you go from being surrounded by nobody to being surrounded by celebrities and just random people in the industry in your backyard all the time.
Did you see that?
Like
Bowie.
I can't even imagine.
Bowie. I'm like, what are you doing offering my boys? But if you look at Michael's documentaries, he talks about being offered stuff from girls to everything. Like those kids, we tend to think the Kanyes and the whoever else is in Hollywood, the TIs, they're living this elaborate, dramatic, glamorized, alternative lifestyle, and that just happened. But the more you learn about what was going on, which I already know a lot what was going on between in the 60s, 70s, 80s, man, they weren't pilgrims. Like, no.
It was more wild. And now the industry, we think the industry is tough today. I think it was even more tough back then because of all the red tape. You had the racial tension, but then you also had the drug epidemic. Now all of those things kind of still exist, but it's like what you're getting into versus you getting there and it's like, oh shoot, this I got to deal with that. And so you're not protected as much. You weren't protected as much back then as you can protect yourself now a little bit.
No. So one more question that I have for you, because I was thinking about it. I started thinking about Venus and Serena, who's a little bit younger than, a lot bit younger than her, but same type of father, same, Joe. I don't think Mr. Knowles was like that too much, but very much controlling, very much. Do you think to make it huge, because these are huge people, is there a level of master major control that has to happen?
Yes. Okay. So because they played double roles, right, as a father and then a manager or creative director in some cases, what did they say? He abandoned his fatherhood. He had to let go of fatherhood and just put on the hat. And I wrote her quote down. She said, "Discipline without love is tyranny."
Did you guess?
Yeah. And so I think I wish I knew and they got more in detail about like the conversations the dad had to have, but I'm pretty sure Matthew Knowles probably sat down and said, "Look, I am your father, but I am this first. And if you want to be where you are, you have to accept me as your man, like as the decision maker." Now, do I think Joe had that conversation? Heck no. He was just like, "You do what I say." So I think, again, generational, you become more delicate a little bit.
Right.
And then even with Serena Williams, that was after Joe. But there was some elements of Joe, but then also elements of care, right? It was like, I'm going to be gentle with you because I know you're young. Whereas Joe was like, nah, you get the treatment as adults because this industry ain't going to care, right?
Yeah. And when the thing first started, I will say, you probably got teary-eyed at different moments. But when they were showing that old footage of Michael, it just all of it, it just felt like such a good era. And you weren't thought of at that time, but I just thought about yes, he probably hated the way he looked. Yes, people got picked on for whatever reason, but it was also such a sense of pride, but also individualism. You didn't nowadays, you just see a copy and paste.
the fact that her mom made their clothes and they weren't even like the same print. It was like you can look at them like back then it was like that's cool, but now looking at it, it's like dang, I could tell they was poor. And
Right.
they were, putting stuff together. But they were like, look, this is what we have to work with, and y'all gonna be happy doing it.
Exactly.
Right? I'm like,
it was a lot. It was simple. It was a simpler, more appreciative time. And that's one of the things you're not going to get Janet to talk bad about her dad. You're not going to get her to talk. She was like, I appreciate him. I love him. And I was like, okay, Janet, I can respect that. We kind of wanted you to say something, but yeah, it was, I just was watching the footage and I was like, man, what a simpler time. They were beautiful. I was looking at Michael and I really was like, man, dude, you didn't think so, but you were beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful,
they all were. They all are, and that's the heartbreaking piece. We're going to get into that next week.
Yeah. So, okay. So I talked about, what'd you think about when they were asking her, I'm just looking at my notes and you look at yours too. You're talking about Penny from Good Times. Yes. So, what did you think about when she answered? Do you think Michael was a freak? And do you think Michael was a freak?
Right.
Did it affect her or whatever? So in other words, growing up, watching the Jacksons, even now, like they never once said, hey, my brother is not a freak or whatever. You just kind of think that I don't know.
Well, I think they couldn't with Michael. I think they knew that he created so much distance between them. Like, because when you think about it, even when they interviewed her on a show or whatever, or like they moved out. When he moved out, he created enough distance. I just felt like he needed to break away. And because of that, they felt like they really couldn't talk on him. They didn't know. I think the interview, was it Latoya or Rebe? She was sitting at the table and she asked, like, when was the last time you talked to Michael? And she was like, it was like a year ago. So he probably kept that distance for that reason of like, y'all been telling me what to do for the first however many years of my life. Yes. It's my turn now.
Wow. So yeah, I when she answered that, I was like, wow, okay, so they did know stuff was going on.
Yeah. It's like that Black family thing. Like you just don't talk about it unless they bring it
not. They did not. Did she feel like she was living in Michael's shadow? Did she ever say in the whole 2 hours? They alluded to it.
Not explicitly. They did say, she kept saying, I didn't want my name on the album, like my last name. Yes. I just wanted the first name. She was like, I wanted no parts to the last name. And then later on in the hour, she said, I knew like the name was necessary. It got the doors open for me, but then on the flip side, it kind of put me in a box, if you will, like she couldn't break away from it. So she answered it, but not directly.
No, she did not directly answer it. But like I said, if you watch the interview, if you watch the documentary, you saw her go through a wave of emotions. And especially when, someone in my generation, and like you said, you're a stan in your generation. So if you followed her, however you came along for the show, there were some things you just didn't know about her. So to go back and think about the Inquirer stories and this story and that story, and you're like, she was going through this, and these were the things what you guys were saying, and it's like, man,
I was trying to follow on Twitter while I was watching. It was real hard, but I saw a tweet from someone. They had to be either my age or if not younger. She said, when I first came across Janet, I had no idea that Michael Jackson was her brother.
Ain't that crazy?
And so you think about it, right? Like, so she's describing how she would go places and people will bring up Michael or they'll ask about Michael. And here you have somebody saying, I didn't even know that was her brother until like later on. She's like, so when I was introduced to Janet, she was just Janet. It wasn't Janet Jackson, Michael's little sister. But I think what did it for her probably had to be Rhythm Nation. Rhythm Nation, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which... so we talked about that. Very interesting because we in her young adult life, in the early life, they moved to California, and then we're talking about the one neighbor. And I was sitting there like, that can't be all her friends. But she was like, listen, My family, and to be honest with you, when you come from a large family, I tell people all the time, we have a party every weekend, whether we want to have one or not, because once everyone comes and now everyone has their significant others, man, listen, we don't need no new friends.
It's true.
But you know, a movie night with just, if you already have 5 to 6 kids, and what, they had 7?
They had like 10. Didn't they have
10?
10?
Double digits?
They had 9.
It was a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10.
Really?
Well, one died and didn't.
Who died? Michael and
no, they had a brother who like didn't make it past birth.
Oh,
they didn't talk about that.
They didn't,
but she wouldn't know because that was like
before her.
That was like 10 years before she was born. So there was a baby in between Marlon and Michael that didn't survive.
I wanted to know. Okay, so before we go to the next season of her life, I really did. I wanted to know what school she went to. Did she go to prom? Did she want to go to prom? Did she cruise up Sunset?
It was Marlon's twin, not Randy.
Okay.
But yes, that was who passed away. Marlon was a twin. And the twin passed away. Thanks, JP. Yeah.
So you good on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Randy twin. JT says they come from an era where stars kept the mystic about themselves. Michael, Prince, this made them bigger than life. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I want to get to the juicy part. Is what's the name next?
Which one? Adult.
I want her marriage to James next.
Listen, let's just go to adulthood. Because
that's kind of a young adult / adult, because she was 18.
So you want because after this we could do adult.
Okay, so
I don't remember Renee.
Right. We can talk about Renee after this, because first off, James DeBarge.
Let's go to James. Let's just go to James.
So when I saw that, like before they got to the story and he was, explaining like how they met or whatever. Yeah. The first thing that came to my mind was like, poor guy. He's been through it. This is before I knew he had left her in the hotel room for 4 hours out on their wedding day.
He said, I'll be back. Figure it out.
And shout out to Grand Rapids, because that's where I lived. Okay. When I moved from Detroit, I went to college out there. So when she said she went to Grand Rapids to get married, I was like, oh snap, put Grand Rapids on the map. We got to add that to the history books. Janet Jackson got married here. Like, right. So I just could not believe that he left her in the room for hours. And then I wrote down, he is the fumbler of the century. How do you have Janet Jackson as a wife and said, you know what, I'm about to just do drugs. You're not even good enough. Like, I get it. It's an illness, a sickness. Addiction is real. So I'm not trying to downplay. But my God, you had Janet Jackson.
He had Janet. And yes, it was sensationalized. It was a secret. I didn't know that. Did I know? No, I don't know if we knew they got married. And no one knew. We knew the public didn't know, but we didn't know the family didn't.
And we didn't know. They know how to keep some secrets, boy. I tell you, because if the second marriage was a secret,
what was he doing while he left? David, child, he was busy doing recreational stuff, right? Didn't she say that's?
Yeah, she got the marriage annulled when she dropped him off one day, and she was like, I dropped him off, locked the doors, and drove home. I said, gangster, savage.
Really? I grew some respect as she was telling her stories, because first of all, the voice. That was the first thing I noticed. I said, look at you with your big girl voice. That's what I needed to hear. It wasn't this and it wasn't that. She spoke with authority, experience, and from a place as a woman, and I was here for it. So we did talk on the last live, like, okay, how is she gonna come to this? Hey, Melissa and Lauren. Hey, Real Deal. How you doing? So
yeah, she married. So here's the thing. What I thought was really interesting and really played, like it was happening then and it's still happening now. she said like they talked on the phone. She knew him, but yet and still the proximity, the closeness still made him feel like he could only present to her his representative, right? He hid that part of him. And then once they got together, it was like, she was like, I didn't know this about him. But yet y'all had spent so much time together. So it's just like, yo,
you know, I don't care what era you in. I'm here to tell you, the representatives can still be sent. That's just the bottom line. So this is them. And all right, I'm getting an echo. Okay, no more. Okay, so this is James and Janet Jackson and James DeBarge. And the fashion, that was fun. That was a good part of the documentary, to see how her fashion changed, and it was very nostalgic for me to look back and go, oh, we used to wear that. Because let me tell you something. Janet had us all walking around with keys hanging off one of our ears in our hoop, okay? And I think you guys brought that back at one point.
Yeah. Sure did.
So sweet. What else? So we're gonna get on Renee, because my mind is blown. TJ, you're like, I totally remember Renee. I don't remember no Renee.
No, she kept that secret good and locked away. Okay. God.
So what else did I want to say about James and her? I kind of felt like so when she was telling the story, and of course I am injecting my own opinion or whatever, but I feel like she still had something there for him. Like he broke her heart.
Yes, I think that's what I wrote down. I said she did not, she admitted, like, even though there's not enough work that you can do, she was like, it's still like sad. So it's clear that she got therapy for it, because she said, I really did care for him. And because she is a woman, women love to help. And like, you know, she saw he was like struggling. It's like, I want to be there for you. I care for you. I love you.
You did say that.
He kind of forced her hand. It was like, I can't deal with my own stuff and deal with yours. And so she made her decision. And so I applaud her. Like in that moment, I was just like, that's a very hard decision. I know what it's like to really be in love with somebody and have to walk away from it. I'm just so in love with just Janet and her evolution, because this struggle to find her identity in the way in which she did it, like she made mistakes, but she recovered. She ran into this, but she recovered. Like it is like they said at the end, she is the blueprint. Like
I gained so much respect just from episode 1.
Yes.
So much respect, because, and we're not on this part, but TJ says he was her first love. And I felt that.
I did.
But I also felt the power behind control. I was a kid around that time, middle school, like I said, you know, whatever. I was a kid, but very much influenced by control. And, you know, of course, you little, you'll know what you're singing. But when you think about all that she was going through around that time, she meant every single last one of those lyrics. I started to pull up the lyrics and read them, because listen, because everything, like you said, even into adulthood, she was like, no, I don't want to do that. But I did it anyway. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to school, but I did it anyway. And when she went to Jimmy and Terry,
girl,
the power behind all of that.
They need, first off, I put in my notes, I said, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, WTF. I need them to have their own documentary, because they are some like unsung, like mastermind
godfathers.
Yes.
You want to dub people godfathers? They are godfathers. Paula Abdul, godmother.
Can we
talk
about Paula?
You want to talk? Okay, so we just gonna say adult life. Go ahead.
Listen, Paula, I had no, like,
I didn't
know. Paula was young and really tasked with something big, right? It was, you have to get Janet out of her shell. And again, Paula is young. Who knew what insecurity she was dealing with to like emerge on the scene as a choreographer and then artist? Like,
okay, stop right there. I'll tell you what she was dealing with just from my knowledge of around that time. It was Paula, help me, TJ, Paula, Mariah, Whitney pitted against each other. So they were the Beyonce, Mariah, and whoever else, Sierra. Constantly. And so there were conversations. I remember, who you got? I got Paula. I got this one. I was like, no, Paula could dance her behind off, but it will always be Janet for me. But nowhere did you think, a la Tasha K, that there was a machine, which was Paula, which was the power behind Miss Janet.
Yeah. Oh, like Paula did that, and you know what? I really want to give her her flowers, because she could have totally took that and tooted her own horn and been like, I built Janet.
I've never heard her say that.
Never heard her say a word.
You are so right. I didn't even know they knew each other like that. Other than, because you'll get somebody and go, hey, can you choreograph for me? Yeah. In other words, I didn't know that there was more of a relationship beyond professionalism.
Yeah.
Paula knows some things.
Yeah.
Because she said it in the documentary. She was like, I had to do more than just teach her choreo. I didn't know what to do with myself when I saw that, because I was like, Paula, like I said, especially knowing during that time, we were sitting up there pitting them against each other.
Yeah.
Crazy.
David X said, did she talk about poetic justice? She did not.
I think that's tomorrow, if at all.
She kind of hinted toward her stint at acting, and that would have been around the time when she was with
Renee, I think.
Renee, right? She was with Poetic Justice came out in 93, and she was with Renee. It's since 91. They got married in 91, but so it was probably like together. So yeah, they brushed over a lot. Like, when I tell you, this documentary could be a week long.
Seriously,
if we were to take every part of her life. Golly.
Paula was dating Jackie
Jackson,
who put her with Janet. Okay.
They did say that. Oh no, was that about? No, that was about DeBarge.
That was about DeBarge.
Dating the sister, or was talking to the sister.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, JT Coin. Thank y'all, all of our co-hosts helping us out. Because as you can tell, we both, and it sounds like y'all at home are just as mind blown as we are. So it was a great documentary, like so good. Let me see what else I wrote down. So yeah, I just have boldly Paula.
Yes.
So this is a part of her adulthood when, talking about living in that shadow, and she would be doing her own thing, decided to do her own thing, and here they are asking her about Michael. You know who I thought of? I thought of Solange.
Yeah.
I thought of Solange. Because, again, not to Beyonce this, but I thought about when Solange did her first breakout album, and I was like, whoa. Like, bam. And she's not a Beyonce. Like, she's got her own style and everything. And you look at a Venus and Serena, which I think their dad did a masterful job of keeping them in each other's shadows, but also keeping them close. He coined that. But go ahead.
No, go. It was interesting. Because
it was interesting to see her just really answer those questions, and just like, I don't know if he has a chamber. That's what y'all are saying, or he's home taking a bath. I don't know,
right?
But to keep it with class, and I don't know if there's that much integrity nowadays in families with social media.
Look at Britney Spears and Jamie Lynn Spears. They are feuding on the air. Like,
you answered it for me. You answered it.
But I want to say the reason why, again, she is the blueprint is your team matters, right?
Yes.
Solange really could be on the same level as Beyonce, but she needs a team. And I think she tried to emerge, I think, as an independent. Like, I don't know if she, she just didn't have a strong enough team. See, Janet, when she broke off, she knew she couldn't do it on her own. So what did she do? She went knocking on Jimmy and Terry's door. She knew that there was magic with Prince.
Let me tell you something. We could, like you just said, we could have just had a separate live with just them and who they've helped.
Yes.
and worked with and blew up. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I just think that like she's like the blueprint in showing like the team matters. You have to pick your team. You know what I mean? Like if you want to be out of the shadows, one is not going to be easy. Two, you got to stay committed. What did 3 things Michael told her if she wanted to make it? Always practice, never give up, have confidence, right? And they're going to compare you.
Yep.
So the first thing, never give up, right?
Yep.
The first, I think so Solange came out, and then what stopped her was she let pregnancy stop her because she had her baby. Solange did. And then it was like she wanted to be a mom and then emerge again. So this start stop thing don't really work for people that are trying to emerge out of the shadows. She never took a break. She went from good times to fame to, being a recording artist. So like there were stepping stones.
So let me ask you this. What did you think? Because like I kind of alluded this a little bit earlier. Judging again, so nobody come for us. Judging by what we saw, we see Janet for who we think she is. We hear how she's feisty, she's stubborn, she's this. We even saw the argument, if you want to call it that, in the sound booth. But then we also hear she's shy, she's timid, she needed help coming out her shell. Do you think that it was compartmentalized based on who she met and allowed in? Or how did you process who she is? Like if we meet her, are we gonna, because how can you be shy and docile but also stubborn and feisty?
I really like that they told you that she was stubborn, but then also re-emphasized it with she was shy. And what that told me was her time with her dad was not wasted. She took what she needed from her dad to get the job done, right? Like she mentioned all the time, like, I was with him, I learned a lot. That's why she couldn't speak any bad about it. And then I think her brother even said something about, yeah, Janet has always been this way. And I think he wanted to say, and that's why we knew she would be okay as a solo artist, right? Because she did have to be feisty and stubborn when she needed to be, but when she didn't have to be, she was like cool as a cucumber.
Because control Janet is Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm learning that is Janet. That wasn't a Sasha Fierce moment. That wasn't none of that stage presence. That is who Janet is.
Which is why it was so powerful. Like that's why it hit the way it did, because
let me find the lyrics, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's why it hit the way it did, is because it was so true. And I think it would be timeless because she really wrote it from the depths of her like experience. And younger people sing it today like with so much conviction, because it still applies. Like she was singing about real life, adolescent, young teen issues.
TJ, you're in the audience. Well, you're in the chat. I see Blind Guy. She's around my age, I think. Those of you that were really in the control era, to the point where I'm now looking at the lyrics and I'm like, just like most lyrics to songs, she was telling us what was going on. Yeah. I don't think I picked up on the power, the train behind that song, because they were so private.
Yeah.
They were so private. Yeah. Wow.
See, wow. I think that's what also makes this documentary like I'm still on cloud nine, because they were so private. Yes. I went into the documentary wondering, what am I going to learn that I don't already know? And the fact that she is still giving us some things, like letting us in, I feel honored. Like, and people watching this, I don't want anybody to think that I'm here critiquing, saying that she should have did. No, like I am very much so enamored by like what I saw. I am in love.
No, it was great. And I got a greater appreciation for her music, because I now know what was driving it. It wasn't just a song about control.
No,
it was her breakout album for a reason.
Yeah.
And of course, we've heard the different stories. And of course, I knew you know, she wrote Control as a result of all of that. But this documentary to me kind of hit it out the park and was like, oh, you driving this home, because we did see her as a young adult getting in the car as a teenager and trying to just be a teenager. And y'all are asking her about Michael, or she wants to go to Pepperdine, or she probably wanted to go to the prom. You know, a whole lot of stuff, but to not, the part I text you, I was like, whoa. And then we can go to another section when she was like, the only way that I knew that I was going to, I'm paraphrasing, that I was going to gain control of my life was to get married.
Mm-hmm.
How many girls feel that? How many girls at home with their parents feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Janet is one of a kind. We agree, Random. Janet saw a lot of the business since she was born, so she learned what to do and what not to do by watching her dad work with her brothers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Let me see. I said, we both spoke about, you never know what a person is going through. We already talked about her kind of in the shadows.
I was cracking up that a fan asked, "Is Michael baptized?"
Did you see that?
I said, "Girl, what?"
She said, "Yeah."
First off, the fact that she answered, and then secondly, we ain't been minding our business for a very long time. I'm gonna need everybody to get out of it. Like, what? Why? Why would you need? What difference would it make if
that was important for sis? Sis said, "Listen, look,
I don't need to know if he got a girlfriend. I just want to know, is he baptized?"
Yeah.
Like, what?
Very interesting. Do you think that she remained in his shadow? I think so.
I don't think so.
I think she held her own, but she will always be Michael's sister.
Absolutely. Well, she will always be Michael's sister, but not in the performance way. More of just like, I'm telling a story, biography way. Like,
yes, Ashlyn, this is live. So no, she's not poor Michelle of the Beyoncés. No. She holds her own. But I always think, okay, for an example, I think no matter what dance move she's doing and what routine, there's gonna be like, did Michael do that?
No.
I think so. I think she will. She. That's Michael's little sister.
No, I mean, yeah, but I don't see her as they probably were going to see her. Like, I don't see her as they saw her then. Like, I don't know. Like, if I were to interview her, I would not ask not one question about Michael or any of her brothers.
Oh, TJ said, I totally understand where Janet was coming from, being so close in age. I had her album before Control. Even saying her at a talent show, I identified with her as I was turning 18, about to graduate. Yeah, I was like in 6th grade. So I was talking about Control. Girl, sit down somewhere. I told you I was tearing up some chairs in the living room on all her albums. Let's see. Janet is everything. There'll always be similarities because they're brother. Okay, they're brother sister. I think she hasn't remained in his shadow. I think she's an artist of her own and paved her own path.
And I think
maybe I'm looking at it this way. I don't know. I there will always be a comparison. Like, oh hey, Janet Jackson. No, I miss Michael. There's gonna be semicolon in a sentence about Michael.
Okay, you're right, because I did say that when I saw the Jackson 5, I said, "Dang, I miss Michael."
I said the same thing. There will always be a semicolon when you talk about Janet Jackson, and a semicolon is whatever we want to say about Michael. You're never gonna just talk about Janet unless you're talking about her hair, her smile, or whatever, and Renee, because that's next. Without a semicolon, Michael Jackson. And it's not, I guess maybe it's not a shadow thing. Maybe that's a bad in term, but yeah.
I was gonna say that it just escaped me, but it was about her and Michael. It'll come back to me, but
she did the things Michael could never do.
That's what it was. I was gonna say this documentary, like, so for those that question it, because that is a legitimate question on whether or not she is in the shadows, will she continue to be, whatever, that is a lingering question. But I think this documentary is going to be that pivotal like moment. Or
girl, she's come out with an album after this. If She comes with an album after this, like Control 2.0, Control Adulthood. Like,
forget album. I'm gonna need you to come back and get your residency back, because she had Metamorphosis, and that was, that was
I feel
cool.
like a Britney fan right now because I'm feeling really like, what is this? Is this giving us more? Is this giving us more? It's okay.
I really think that this documentary is gonna, like, if people didn't have respect on her name, they gonna have it after this. Period.
Absolutely. And I respected her before it, but just like any documentary, when they really give you the behind the scenes, behind the story, I'm like, girl.
Yeah. Here's your flowers. Like, take them.
Yes, I was ready. Blind Guy says, for Jehovah Witnesses, being baptized holds different weight. It's a life decision of commitment. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was, I understand the sentiment. It was just very interesting.
Random.
It was random. Can I have your autograph? Are you baptized? Like that's what we were mean. Somebody, TJ's laughing. Did you talk about the halftime show? We did, David. We did
Oh no, did they talk about the halftime show in the documentary?
Oh
no. There's a part 2 tomorrow, you guys. So this is only part 1, and they stopped it at her Rhythm Nation tour. So they'll pick it up tomorrow at 8:00 Eastern time.
Will we be?
Listen, will we? Stay tuned. I gotta figure it out.
Me hanging, Lauren.
No, I have to come back and talk about it. You know me.
Watch the Scream video. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to talk about the Scream video in tomorrow's part 2.
And I agree with this host. If I interviewed her, Michael would maybe be the 50th question I'd ask. Okay.
Yeah.
I met her twice and have her cassettes. I understand that Lauren's just smiling because she's like, I got the CD. But
I have I had the CD, but I have owned a cassette.
You have owned a cassette. Yes, Ashlyn. I can't wait to know more about her and Renee. Yes. So let's get through these and then we'll talk about Renee.
I was going to say,
okay. Okay. Me or you? You want?
I was just going to say about Renee. Things must have ended very terribly.
I know,
because the way she was kind of talking, like, I had hoped it was forever. Like, this kind of had a little attitude about it.
Renee after this. We're gonna get on Renee.
Okay.
Her legacy starts with Michael and the Jacksons. Even the documentary began with her looking at the mural of the brothers when she went to Gary and with Indiana with Randy. Absolutely. That was a sweet moment. Yes, her album is coming out soon. She's not in anyone's shadow. Stop it. I will not, Mel. This is my channel. Like, if you want me to stop, Mel, you go to your channel. Like, no, I'm not going to stop it. If I stop, that means I'm going to end the live and then just stop mid-sentence. No, Mel, stop. Ashlyn agrees. Hope she does Super Bowl next year. That would kind of cool. We talked about it. Catch our live from a few days back, about a week ago. Adrian is hello all. Ashlyn is laughing because she probably had cassette tape. Renee played a pivotal role in her music, specifically Rhythm Nation and Velvet Rope. Ha 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 ha. Random Guy Jr. This is my channel. Absolutely random. All right. Can we just say, I can understand now that I know the time frame. I guess if I'm in 6th, 7th grade, I wouldn't know or care that she's with the Renee. So when Renee appeared, I was sitting there like,
who is this man?
Who? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, things definitely sounded like it did not end well with Renee. And toward the end of the episode tonight, they how they're painting Renee's picture, right? When they first introduced him, it was like dreamy, and the music behind it and the music, and then it's jumped to when they were recording for Rhythm Nation, and they kind of made him look as though he was like very militant and very had this dictatorship to him and kind of controlled it. He even said, he's like, I'm an extension of Janet. And in a way, I think and this is just my assumption, y'all, because again, part 2 comes out tomorrow. And in a way, I think that he let Janet's fame get to his head. Like, I mean,
I can see that.
It was like, You're
First of all,
famous. Yeah.
what I thought of, I was like, Janet got with a vlogger. Basically,
Yeah.
she got with a famous vlogger.
Yeah.
And then he was like, star. Oh, I got to stop. Wow. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say, like, so they kind of painted
No,
this
we're live,
picture.
Trash No Waves. We're live. Go ahead.
They kind of like painted this picture of him being like this dictator, and then when he said like I'm an extension of Janet, I felt like it, at one point he was like turning into her dad,
Yes.
and that's what she wanted to break away from.
She was triggered.
So, yep. So I really think I cannot wait for tomorrow to see the demise of the Renee era, because they were together for a very long time. They were together until 2000.
Listen,
Yeah.
and you know, me and you both will be up texting. Do not get what's it called? Cliff notes, spoilers. Let the documentary tell us. And if the documentary doesn't tell us, when we come live tomorrow, we'll just dig up on Renee. Because I promise you, Renee, okay, James, I knew about. It feels like she went from James to the Arab guy. Who do you know in between there?
Right. Renee was so behind the scenes, and man, I can't wait to hear what happened between them.
I heard
but
Renee was
I mean,
go ahead. I'm
Renee
sorry.
was actually good. Even though he may have come off that way, some really great albums were birthed during the Renee
I think
era.
it was good for her.
Really great for her.
I think it was great for her, but like you said, it got to his head. But let me ask you this: what was happening? What was this? I missed something when he filmed her a lot. So all those videos, that was like, okay. But when they were on the bed and he was like, "You're great. You're gonna do this. You're bigger." You know, he was her hype man, and he was filming it, and they were talking about what that moment meant. What was the significance of that? Like, what you got? I didn't.
Okay, this is my theory, y'all. And so
let me scroll Miss Allegedly.
because I'm finna go in. Okay.
Go ahead.
Typically, when you see a partnership in that way, right, where it wasn't the guy didn't really start with the person, and they're trying to attach themselves, they get you comfortable. In a way, it was like grooming her to trust him, to grooming her so that he would have this mind control over her. So when in the moments where she felt like maybe she couldn't do it, she would look to him, and then to him he would be like, I'm the source of your strength. And again, this is over. That's what I'm saying. I honestly think that was the reason why they put so much emphasis on this dreamy, how their relationship blossomed. Like they put a lot of emphasis on that, and then slowly started to like move it into this, he's uncontrollable. Like even the person said, like when he was around, we knew not to cross him. See, those are the words, like those are like little indicators that a flip has switched. He's no longer this charming person. He's this controlling person. And not only does he have control over like what's around me, but he has control over me. And so I can't wait to hear what happens. That's all I'll say about that.
Yes. I just was still trying to process who he was. And like I said, because I was so young, I can now see why I don't know. I just don't remember seeing him in the press or anything. And I can kind of vibe with what you're saying as far as his position. But we have to wonder, was it for his gain? Or are we going to see where it went from really caring for her to getting the big head? Also, did you peep in the beginning of the show? I was like, oh, there was more than one. She was like, I kind of just keep finding people that get involved with drugs. I was like, she said people. I don't know if y'all heard that.
Yes, I caught it. And I was wondering who the other person would be. And I'm like, she couldn't be talking about Michael, because again, she kind of kept that personal. We knew he was like addicted to prescription drugs, but not drugs.
Yes.
So, okay, we can take allegedly down. I'm gonna get it together. I ain't gonna accuse nobody.
You're fine. He was really nice at concerts. He would talk to the fans. Janet during the Janet.
So Renee was another Kevin Hunter.
You know what? Randomly,
Ronnie Jr.
I was literally sitting here as she was talking, and I was like, "Who is it?" I'm trying to think of who it is. Who is the modern day person? And my brain went to Bobby, but it's not Bobby. It's not Bobby.
It's the one. Mm-hmm.
It could be Kevin, like he said. He's giving me Kevin vibes.
Yes.
Kevin
Yep. Yeah. Definitely Kevin.
Good job, randomly, the co-host.
Made that connection. Like, for real. That's what that's what I said. Kevin came into Wendy's life. Again, Wendy was already somebody, and Kevin came and flipped the switch in a good way, right? Obviously. But yes, you are exactly right. That was a good point.
That's a good, wasn't that good? Rumor
good.
has it she dated Bobby Brown before Whitney. She also dated Jim. Yes, she did.
Yeah, we knew that.
Her catalog is a bit diverse.
Well, I want to get into that, but you know what?
She
Tomorrow,
doesn't really have a type. But we can talk about it.
She ain't got no type, but I really hope we get into that tomorrow, but I don't think that we will. I think tomorrow that's when they bring all the celebrities on so they can like make her feel good, like, she's the best, I got my credit, so I don't think
I'm gonna jot this down because I thought about this when you were talking earlier, Janet and her men. And her choice of men, because we want to say, okay, she took all these great things from her dad. And literally, like she said, I thought all of them were the one, and they all were. She had daddy issues. I think.
Yeah.
And so it takes me back to childhood, early childhood, young adulthood. And it's like, okay, Joe, you were being manager, but what's up with these girls and your family life and everything? Was there a sacrifice there? That imbalance? Was there an imbalance there?
Well, she didn't technically have a dad. Like, again, they said it. He had to abandon fatherhood to become this master manager.
They're very loving, endearing when they speak of their mom. That's mother.
Very gentle, yes.
Very gentle. But they get on your daddy. Your daddy had you sit there. Like, I'm like, wow.
Father. It's father and mother. Father. Blah, blah,
Father,
blah.
yes. Renee was good for Janet's career behind the scenes, but he was also something else to deal with. Ask Romeo, who sang backup for her. Wow, Latoya. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to ask Romeo, but yeah, that's a good point. Janet seemed broken when it came to healthy relationships with men, starting with her dad. Exactly, Marcus. That's what I dug out of it, because I want to celebrate the fact that, they say that she was stubborn and she didn't play. And in her creating mode, she was direct. She was like, what you laughing at? Like, what are you guys laughing at? I'm not putting up with this, type thing. And then paparazzi would be out the door and she'd walk away, probably, hi guys, I'm just leaving for the day. But she was tearing up stuff in their room. Yeah. I think they were together for 8 years before anyone knew about him. He was a backup dancer and instrumental with her Janet and Velvet Rope album. Okay, now that you say backup dancer, I'm getting, and I might be mixing up somebody else's story because I feel like they all be.
Brittany was with a backup dancer. That's probably who you're thinking about. Brittany married a backup dancer.
A few of them. Mariah.
Did she?
Yes. A dude or two ago was a backup. Okay. Not the old guy. I hope Justin being part of this documentary is not about forgiving him. Black people are sick with forgiveness. Okay. He was a break dancer then, dated him and hired him. He was controlling, I heard, abusive, but let's wait till tomorrow. Ashley, it's going to be so good tomorrow. And make sure you guys tune in. We will be back. It's not my normal filming day, but you know what? I'll jump on live when it's breaking news or something really good on television and give you a reaction. So hopefully Lauren will be back. I'm not coming if she's not coming. So y'all need to drop some hearts to convince her. Yeah. Oh, yes. And J-Lo.
She did. Yeah.
I give Janet a lot of credit because dating is difficult for all of us, let alone with being Joe's daughter, period. And the entertainment industry. I imagine she has a tough time trusting men. And she spoke about that. But when she does, it's a larger level of vulnerability. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, she said she got married to get away from her father. Exactly. She did. She said that was the only, and a lot of girls do that. I've heard of young girls doing that, uh, getting married to get away from the home, which was not something that I had to do or was gonna do. Renee, yeah.
Yeah.
What else you had?
I really want to hear. So tomorrow, I really want to. I don't think it's going to be in there though. I want to hear about like how therapy helped her, because if you're going to lay out all of these things, it leaves the question, how did you cope and how did you manage, right? You think about this childhood that you have that was very different. You had a father that wasn't a dad. You had celebrity brothers. You had getting into a career that you didn't want to get into, but you're in it anyway. You had a failed marriage at 18. You were exposed to drugs. She ain't say whether or not she did them. I'm sure she probably tried it. But so I think all of these things, and they're all happening before the age of 25.
I know. Because the DeBarge situation, she was what, 18, 19?
Yeah, she was 18. Yeah.
Wow, I'm dropping your channel. What else did you get out of it? Let me see. The ending, or towards when she was saying about the weight of negativity and how she avoids that. And it also, the documentary also helped me understand her seclusion and her privacy, and how we see her with the same people, and you get a sneak peek in and out. I see why they don't show their children.
Yeah.
I see why. I get it.
But did you see she showed her nieces, like when they were trying to figure out whose daughter they were like, yeah, she had a baby.
That child looked like Janet. I don't care what nobody say. Let's talk about
that child. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, genes are strong, and the Jackson's genes are strong. My niece, well, actually, my nephew, literally looks like that can be my son, and and so I get it. It's funny because I'm like, when they asked the question and she said, when could I have done this? I believed her, even though she didn't flat out say no. I don't think that she had a baby. Even though she didn't flat out and say no.
She didn't say no. None of them said no.
None of them did.
They just laughed it off and brushed it off. I don't know if there's anything to gain or lose to come out with the child. If anything, in our society right now, it would be breaking news. Heads would be spinning, and everybody would go viral with this story that Janet admits that that's her daughter.
And honestly, even if she did and they didn't say it, I know why. And it would be because the protection of whoever the daughter would be, right? You would, like you said, media would explode. And what would they do? They'll be, following her around with lights, cameras, action. And they've gone this long without it. So even if it were true, it don't even matter no more.
That's true.
At this point, you would be giving them bait to literally Princess Di her in a way. And bombard her with lights, cameras, microphones, and she don't want that. If it is.
Oh, TJ says she wouldn't have carried a child. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to read it for YouTube safety. But anyway, a child from James.
Yeah,
I can see that. James really hurt her. James really hurt her. And thank God, knock on wood and everything else, my serious relationships have never been with anybody on any type of substance, but he left her on her wedding night and dipped out and was like,
and Grand Rapids is not a city to be left in. Okay. I mean, it's not dangerous, but it's very boring and very sketchy people. So I understand. Like, I lived in Grand Rapids.
Right. Yes, Marcus. Marcus said it felt like a therapy session when she was talking about her life. Point blank, period. That's what I took from the documentary. It felt very therapeutic for her to get it all off her shoulder, at least what she wanted to.
It was
masterful. The only thing about the baby, if she did really have a child, because this is something that she's like, my truth, my story. But then again, even in these two YouTube streets, as transparent as I am, there are some things I'm just not going to come on here and say.
Yeah.
So I get it.
They what was I gonna say? She said that Yeah, she said that she wouldn't have separated a child from their father, even if she did have one. So yeah, she kind of answered it in that regard. But I will say that is one thing that this documentary did, was really make it feel like you were sitting on the therapy couch with her. I mean, I
Yes,
felt like I was like on FaceTime with her, and she telling me all the juice, and I'm like, okay.
exactly.
Like I
Yeah.
was so like, if my eyes could be this close to the TV, they would have been.
It
I stood
wasn't guarded.
half the time. It was so good.
It wasn't and let me read this from TJ because I remember her saying this. I get what you're saying now. TJ's like, no, Melissa, you misunderstood. Lost in translation. She says, she said she wouldn't have kept kept the child from the father. And I get that. So I'm a truster. It's none of our business at the end of the day. It really isn't. It's just something that it's one of those things like, did Beyonce really carry Blue Ivy? She's going to carry that question for the rest of her life until she actually shows the sonogram, and people still aren't going to believe her. So what's the point?
We're not, because it ain't none of our business.
It's not. And she very well, like I said, there are certain things that she can absolutely keep a secret. Now, again, I want to know. In my head, they were homeschooled. But I don't know. Because do we have prom pictures or anything from them? I don't know. Yes, Michael went to prom or something. Wait.
No, you think about the only prom picture I remember seeing is Beyonce's.
Yeah. All of everybody's business is not everybody's business.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I agree. She gives so much to her artistry and hugely in a public eye. So I respect Janet and her having the right to her privacy. Absolutely. And even the things that we're wondering, I think is just like our moment where she's finally given it felt very unguarded, very unscripted, just really, really natural. So we just felt like we were like girlfriends. Girl, and so what happened with? And what happened? But she was like, no, you're gonna get what you get and don't throw a fit.
That's right. None of them have prom pictures. Yeah, I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think we covered it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think we made it to the end of the documentary. I just really adore Janet. When I tell you, my very first concert was the Velvet Rope tour, and that is really what got me into just music in general. I was 8 years old watching her slide down the pole. Like,
listen,
my mama took me. Shout out to you,
because your mama was a fan, So that's what's so interesting about a Janet and the different ones that are generational. And so, yeah, you can read this comment.
Oh, yeah. Marcus Atkins. Interesting that Latoya wasn't interviewed. She told a lot of the Jackson secrets in her biography. Well, Marcus, you answered your question. That's why she wasn't in it, because they probably is like, you done spoke enough. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to drop my IG. My IG is so dry. I don't even tell nobody. Like,
let me do that.
Yeah, just subscribe to me here. My IG is dry. Because YouTube takes up so much time when you're creating and hopping on live because there's a volcano somewhere, and hopping on live because something didn't happen. I don't have time. But listen, I don't have time. Mosaic is cracking up. Mine too. I was 13 at the Velvet Rope in Irvine, California. Wow. So good memories. Very good memories. So what was you guys' favorite part? You guys let us know. What was your favorite part? Drop a comment real quick. Let us know what your favorite part of the documentary. What was your major takeaway as we close out this live? Yep. So if you're just tuning in, we are giving our off the cuff raw reaction to the Janet Jackson documentary. The part 1. Part 2 is tomorrow, and we will be back with another review. I do YouTube over IG. Yeah, honey. If you want to see me and Lauren together, you're gonna have to be over here. We're not shucking and jiving on IG together. Control, yes.
That was a favorite part. Yeah.
That was your favorite part.
I think the only mention of Latoya was when Janet said she told her if she wanted to marry James and to go ahead and do it. Got it. Okay.
Look, but was that Marcus who said that? Yeah, Marcus. I'm with you, Marcus. She burned some bridges with that. And then she went on didn't she go on like a little circuit after Michael passed away saying stuff? Yeah. So yeah, she should have.
She was on like CNN or something. I was like, why are you
reckless? She was reckless. I do favor you. Okay, we talked about that. Control, yes, Mosaic. That's what I got of it. The theme was, and even with her little tagline, she was like, listen, this is my story. I'm telling it my way. Because up until this point, other people have told her story. The siblings have told her story. She said, listen, I'm going to tell you what I want you to know. I
Mhm.
loved it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
they opened up the documentary by asking her like, why are you doing this? And she said, because I need to, it's necessary. And so I'm with her. And she didn't even have to throw nobody under the bus when she did it. She didn't have to say people wrote all of these things. She's like, I have to, it's my time. And I'm like, yes, it's your time. Come on, let's go. I'm so happy.
Yep. Did I ask you this live? Do you think we're going to see the baby?
Yeah. No, you asked me the other live, but I do not think we will see the baby.
Still don't think so.
No.
Not even a foot.
Not even a foot.
Okay.
Nope.
The way the documentary is, I have to see tomorrow, but just at the top of my head, the way the footage is going, she's not really, well, there is some never before seen footage. So
I think that if anything, we'll see pictures of her pregnant.
Okay. We'll see pictures pregnant.
That's it. No baby.
No baby. Because you're right. Because listen, he turned what, 5 last year?
Because she didn't even post. I mean, obviously she would, if this was coming out, she would probably wait till this. They're very, calculated. But even on his birthday, I think it wasn't even a foot. I think it was she posted happy birthday to my son or something.
Listen, Tyler Perry gave us an empty crib. That's all you're going to get. I don't think you ever going to see.
Girl, I done forgot he had a kid. Good night.
So just for the sake of entertainment, I'm going to say we're going to get a glimpse of little Marcus. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't his name. Little Carlos.
Oh my God, that is not his, wait, what is his?
His name is.
What was his birthday though, honestly?
It was a couple of months ago, like December, October, like it just happened. Go to her IG.
That was okay. Let me go back a ways.
But TJ, that's what I got. I got out of it the power behind being in control of your life, but also just doing it your way. Like, I felt so bad for her just looking at the footage, not her talking about that time, because we've heard, that's the difference. We've heard her in the past talk about that time period in her life. But with this documentary, we saw actual footage of her being controlled and avoiding questions. And oh, wow. Okay. Only mention of Latoya was when Janet said she told her if she wanted to marry James to go ahead and do it. California in the house. I can't wait until part 2 tomorrow. Listen, Kira Hooper, be here tomorrow or be square because we're going to talk about some things. What? No shocking and driving and hucklebucking? No, shucking and jiving and hucklebucking. I did a full 45-minute episode about Janet in my YouTube yesterday. Did you? So you were ready for this. Okay. I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay, TJ, thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you tomorrow too.
Wow.
That's right. Salute to Janet. All roses and flowers. It's lit in here. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Trash Can Waves. Yes. Don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to Lauren Melissa's YouTube as well. We kind of hop on each other's channel at this point. So make sure you go and show her some love as well. Wait. Okay, we said that. Elsa. Issa. That is his name. Issa. His name is Issa.
Yeah, it sure is. You're right.
You're right. That is his name.
No, yeah, this was her post about her son. Literally, no pictures.
You're not even getting a picture of his room. His little car's bed. You're not getting
emojis. This is what you send to somebody you just met a month ago when you say happy birthday and you don't have more to say, so you just put all the emojis.
Thank you, Trash Can Waves. Exactly.
We ain't getting no picture of Issa.
Can you go ahead and drop our Cash Apps and our Buy Me a Coffees and all of that good stuff? Because I know that people like what they see on this channel. And so they want to bless us and support us in more ways, including the like button. So much so, watch this. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Right now, do it. If you're just tuning in, you have the Melissas, and we are here reacting to the Janet Jackson documentary that featured tonight on Lifetime. Listen, and that was on the heels of our virtual happy hour that we do together on Fridays. We just having fun on Fridays, okay?
Friday.
It's so fun, and we're just so excited to be here with you guys and just giving the commentary. We're kind of winding down, but just as I said, Lauren's information is in the description box as well as in the chat. Go check that commercial. Listen.
First off, what y'all gotta know about Melissa is she be working, okay? She puts in the work for her channel, and I love every bit of it. Teresa asked if you can highlight hers. Teresa Johnson, did Janet give a direct yes or no to the secret baby question? She did not give a direct yes or no. She kind of said, when was I gonna have this baby, sis? I was doing Fame. When was I gonna have this baby? I got chunky because I was taking birth control. That's what she said.
Which is low key, that's the answer that a lot of them be saying.
They do. I mean, look, but you have to go back to that part, Teresa, where we kind of talked about it. Yeah, my take is it didn't matter if she did or not. It's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I normally put timestamps on our lives, on our videos, but I'm not going to do it on this. This is just a conversation that we're having. So sorry, there won't be any timestamps, y'all. I'm an out-of-work radio personality. Otherwise, I'd hit you with the tip. But believe me, when my YouTube and podcast grow, we'll definitely collaborate.
So sweet, Ronnie.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet.
Well, you being here and commenting is the best support you could ask for.
Listen, honestly, and those that are normally on my channel, y'all know I be forgetting to ask or anything. I like Lauren said, it's the comments for me. It's the talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian says fun Fridays, absolutely. And we're sober today. Like this is not like a wait a minute. What's in that can?
Not sober. No, I'm sober-esque. It's
okay. That was me last week. Listen, when my words get to slurring and I'm forgetting thoughts and I'm thinking about pizza, forget it. I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah. Deflection. Okay. And fun Fridays. Yeah, the least you can do, guys. We appreciate your coming, supporting our channels, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. We are here every Friday, or as often as for sure we're here every Friday. I'll please you that way. To support our girl, Real Talk with Melissa, as you see, our girl is at 2K and the super chat feature is available. Thank you, Trash Can Wave. Although in my, what's it called, studio, it doesn't reflect it. You know how YouTube does. The app reflects something different. No matter, we up in this piece. It don't even matter. So
yeah, I'm gonna drop your thing in the chat. I gotta hear your Cash App and stuff.
Okay.
Melissa. I gotta put a space next to Cash App. I'm just out here
doing whatever.
In
the meantime, let's play music. StreamYard just giving us all the features.
I love it.
Yeah. Real talk. Yes, I do have a Cash App.
It is. Yeah, I just put it in the chat for y'all. So this was fun. I'm off my cloud now. Now I'm gonna call my mom and be like, "Did you watch it?" But no, Hi, Mom. I just really love Janet. I'm really glad that this is her time. This is her moment. Part 2 tomorrow is going to be phenomenal. I just know I am going to cry. We got a good question from Randomly Ronnie. If you could listen to just one Janet Jackson music video, which one would you choose?
Oh. Okay. First of all, let me turn off the brand because I think I do have a slight ADHD going on. When it's too much, my brain be trying. Okay. You know what we forgot to do earlier?
What?
The Mary question.
No. The who?
The Mary thing about the one song. It's okay though.
Oh, Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. We'll save it because that was trash anyway. But anyway, the thought of just one song. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we did not talk about that.
No,
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah,
talk about that.
yeah.
You post that link to your channel about section yet? No, probably not.
She didn't. I could tell
Nope.
you right.
Nope, probably not. Um,
Oh, if is a good one. Randomly Ronnie Jr. That might be the one.
if
If I was your girl, all the things I do to you.
I would do, hold on.
Ooh, let's wait a while. That's a good one.
That's a good one, Stacey Ann. I'm with random. Pleasure Principle.
Pleasure principle. I think okay. So control
Yeah,
would be my
Pleasure
number
Principle.
one. Control would
Listen,
be my number one for sure.
no. It would be the Nasty video for me. That song and video made her a superstar. Pleasure Principle for me.
Mm.
That Control.
Oh, Nasty Girl was a good one. Nasty Girl.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I just want to go back.
While is good too. That's really good. We should get one per mood. We're cheating.
I want to go back to the concert. So bad, man.
Beverly Hills Cop. Yep. Good music.
Mm-hmm.
Good music. And not for nothing, all right is a vibe.
It is.
You know your music. You know your music.
It is a vibe.
Yeah, it is a vibe. So we're done.
We're done wrapping up. Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up. You know, for those of you that don't know, we just finished a live before this one. So I don't know on YouTube if it would be under this video.
Yeah.
Go ahead and check out that live. It's our Friday night sipping and just saying with the Melissas, Lauren, Melissa, and Melissa. And it's kind of like a variety show with topics. We kind of condensed it today because we knew we were going to watch the Janet Jackson documentary. So go check that out if you want to see more of us. But definitely join us on our channels. We are on different days.
Yeah.
And you'll see us. So with that being said, Lauren, what you got to say?
Just watch it tomorrow. Come back. Go subscribe to Lauren Melissa. I'm trying to get to 2K by 2/22. It's my birthday. So did I tell you like the significance of this year's birthday?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I'm turning 32 on 2/22/22.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
And it's on a Tuesday.
Oh,
and I'm a twin. So that's another.
This is your birthday. This is the one.
This is it.
This is the one.
If I could get to 2,222 subs by my birthday, it's a wrap. This year finna go up. But I'm like
my next goal. Thank you everyone that got me to 2,000. I'm ready to hit 5,000 at least. And so I'm like, you know what? All these drama channels, millions of subbies and all this other stuff. And here we are putting in that good work. But I'm chugging along. Okay, he says, see you around these YouTube streets. Randomly Ronnie Jr. I will remember that.
I'm about to sub right now, Ronnie.
You know what, Ronnie? Hold on. Let's watch. Watch your subscriber count go up by 2. Let's see. Randomly Ronnie Jr.
Yes, here we go.
Oh, look at that. Come on, podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh, channel art. I'm loving it.
Official. I am loving the
thumbnails.
The thumbnails and just the just the color scheme. It's just
Okay. Listen. Let me drop your situation. Let me sub to all. And then we gonna help you, Ronnie.
I love this.
Super cute.
Uh-huh.
Ronnie, we're gonna shoot you an email, buddy.
Love.
You're doing some things out here.
I love it. Come on,
Ronnie, your thumbnails. What the heck?
Yeah, they're great.
All right, I'm not even gonna do this on live. I'm not gonna do it.
They're great.
I'm not gonna do it. You want me to do it on live, Randy, but I'm not. I'm not about to.
Your branding is great, Ronnie.
It's very great.
I love it.
So we got to figure out why or if you want more than 123 subscribers. So if you do want more, you guys go subscribe to Randomly Ronnie Jr. He's like, thanks, guys. He's blushing. Oh, you're on Twitch right now. He's my Twitch guy.
I know nothing about Twitch. Yeah. That's
Mind
crazy.
business, little girl. Mind your business.
I don't know nothing about it.
I done told y'all. Y'all.
I don't know nothing about it.
I stream the Twitch among other places.
Nice.
Right. So anyway, she's like, I can't deal with this woman. I can't.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's all right. So friends, we'll see you guys. Oh, no, I can't. I was going to have you advertise tomorrow, but.
No, it's not tomorrow. Tomorrow, what is, you tomorrow? Oh, wait, no, yeah, no.
No, don't. Okay, all right. Yeah, I was like,
don't know.
I don't know what you're doing on your channel tomorrow, but no, we will be back here tomorrow. And then, so starting next week, what's your first day?
My next.
When's your next video?
My next video. So it will be probably Sunday. But for sure Wednesday I will be Lunch with Lauren will go up. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we'll see you then. Y'all just go to our channels, go visit Ronnie, go visit Trash Can Waves. Just go visit everybody, because that's what we do over here.
It's enough to
go just visit, participate, comment. If you're not gonna do that, honestly, don't even subscribe, because it's I that's just me. Don't subscribe to me. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, never mind. We're out of here.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye.